right. Oh, yeah, look at him. You got to fight him on the surface.
What I like to do is take an RC jig from Northland Fishing Tackle.
Get the shiner after the fish attacked it. Hook 'em weedless style.
Now, you notice this puppy wanted a jigging size sucker minnow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bro Roadshow Fall Edition. This is our last show for fall, and we are going to be coming back at you later on ice. We're all ice crazy people here, but we wanted to talk about fall. I hope you've had a great hunting, fishing, whatever you're doing. Great time. Hey, good evening, Larry. I'm guiding all the time, and I was out today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before I bring on Sam, I just want to make sure that everybody knows we will continue the season. We're going to come back in November, and it's all ice madness. And I know we're all crazy about it. But I want to tell you, my co-host, Sam Larsen, is not just visual marketing at Northland and not just a lure designer. He is also, we call him Sam Pablo Picasso Larsen. He is a runner-up on the stamp, but I'm going to let him tell you. Let's bring him on and let's talk about this. It's pretty amazing.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Sam. Hey, dude, I am proud of you.
Thanks.
Everybody, Sam is a runner-up on a stamp. He actually painted a stamp, and he got runner-up, which is so close. Can we see that stamp for turkey? Hey, Tony.
Yep, I entered in the Minnesota turkey stamp competition. Which the judging was last Thursday. So ended up runner-up, just missed it by 1 point, but it was a lot of fun. This is the second time I've entered into the turkey competition, third stamp competition. So I'm going to keep going at it, but congrats to the winner, and we'll be after it next year. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And like I was telling you, he doesn't just win tournaments. He's got the engineer thing going on, because I get a little aloof and I slide this way and slide that way, and he was always straight arrow. And not only that, he's going to be shooting arrows pretty soon. The guy's crazy. You never sleep. But, hey, Sam, how's it going? How's the fishing been in the area? Because a lot of people look to this area as a destination. Bemidji is your area, and there's 1,000 lakes around that area. What's going on?
Yep. So the walleye bite around here is really firing up, as I'm sure you know. Those fish are schooling up like crazy. You hear more and more people catching big minnows, dragging around big minnows, jigging minnow. It's been a really good bite. Panfish, from what I'm seeing personally, is they're starting to slide out a little deeper than they were a few years ago, starting to get on that winter pattern. So overall, fishing's been good. I struggled a little bit with the bass bite this week, but panfish and walleye are definitely hopping in the boat. How's your trips been going lately?
Well, actually, we were out today, and it was fantastic. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I was guiding. I had 3 guys in a boat from Kansas, and they had a great time. And we probably caught and released close to 70 fish today. And but I have a secret bait, and we had some nice ones. We didn't have any giants, but these are like 21. That one's about 24-incher. That's a fun day. And then getting some eater 16.5 to 17.5-inch walleyes. The perch are out there, and but I have something secret, but I'm not going to reveal it until before the giveaway at the end of the show. So remind me, I want people to stay tuned. I'm going to throw my secrets at you, what I'm doing guiding, and these guys couldn't even believe it. Yes, secret bait. I don't know if I'll be able to do that when you come up, but hey, how you doing, Craig? What a great guest.
I got a secret right now that I'll share right now.
There you go.
I've been playing with the new AquaView. Let's see, get it right. Oh, upside down. The new AquaView Strike View camera.
I love it.
So what this is it's a camera that you attach to your line, 65-pound braid, and then off the back you attach your lure, and it actually records. It's all there's not a single button on this camera, so you drop it in the water, the Aquaview guys must be pretty dang smart. So I don't know how they get it to work, but you drop it in the water and it actually starts recording automatically, and will just record in 3-minute loops. And I've had it out for probably the last 3 weeks. Been playing out with it a little bit, and been getting some good footage. So Brooke, do you want to bring up that footage? And
let's check this out. I can't wait. Wow, that's amazing. I love it. What a great way to see how your lure works. Oh, look at the sunfish. Holy cow. Oh, you got a bass there. I love this. Aquaview. Man, fantastic. This gives you an idea. Big bluegill. I'm loving this stuff. Boy, Aquaview thinks of everything. Super cool. I think everybody's muted, but I'm still going. Look at this, people. I can imagine how this would be. You could use this at any depth just about. Oh, crappies.
I'm here now, bro. I forgot to unmute myself.
But you know what? Look at the fish.
It's been a lot of fun to play around with. I've been learning my spots a lot better, dragging it through the spots. It's really cool. So these are really new. They're just going to hit the store shelves in November here. Perfect for some late trolling. I know I kind of want to drag it around for some fall muskie trolling. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But then also it would be an absolutely awesome Christmas gift. So they're going to hit the store shelf soon, out in November, but it's been a lot of fun. Look at this pike just hunting this lure down. So,
well, we always talk about that when I'm guiding. If you can use your electronics, but if you could see what's behind your bait, you'd know why your creek chub is going bananas.
Yeah,
so super cool. I gotta see this thing. Show it to me again. That the camera.
Yeah,
show everybody. Look at that. That's
a little tiny unit. Like I said, just attach this side to your main line with 65-pound braid because you'd hate to lose this thing. And then just attach a leader off this. I've been using about somewhere in between 24 and 36 seems to be the sweet spot to get the lure in a nice frame of the camera. It's not too far away. Of course, clear water helps, but yeah, super cool. All internal memory. Just plug it in and download it to your computer, and there you go. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome for all you YouTubers out there. Man, I got to get one of those because it would be really cool to see when you got a swarm of walleyes down there and perch, and just see what kind of we had some walleyes that got bit by some big stuff. Now, how much does that weigh? Jeff wanted to know what was the weight on that thing.
I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but it's interesting. So you'd think it would really drag your lures down, but because it's heavy, but it's also big, so it creates some lift in the water. It kind of stays a little bit neutral to your lures. So some of those shallower or some of our mid-depth crankbaits, I've been actually adding like 3/4 ounce of tungsten to help keep it down a little bit. And it also helps stabilize the camera.
You could see he used plugs behind it. Great for pulling plugs.
Yep. Another thing I'm excited for is because there's no camera, there's no unit up above the ice. I think it'll be really cool on like a tip up or something where you can just let it go. You don't have to worry about snow and junk getting all over your camera or someone walking off with it because it's secretly underneath the ice. So I plan to keep on using it, and it's
3-minute loops.
Been pretty fun so far. So I uploaded all that footage to my social media accounts, and then I think, bro, you're going to share it as well on your accounts if anyone wants to tune in and watch the rest of that video. So
that's fantastic. And do you know what the price point is going to be?
I do not know the price point. I should have asked if that Colt gave me one to try out for a little bit, but like I said, they'll be out in November, so pretty cool.
That's going to be a hot
whatever it is.
Ticket. I mean, how many trollers are out there? There's people trolling right now all over the place on Winnie Cass, Leech Lake, and so that's super awesome. Another great idea from Aquaview. But I also want to thank Chesterburg Toyota, and I really want to thank him for helping us with this show. Chesterburg Toyota is in Bemidji. They're the first dealership, and they have the best service. So if you're thinking about a car, stop at Chesterburg, talk to Brian. Maybe not Chet because he's probably hunting right now, but what a great place, family operated, and we love family companies right here in Bemidji, Minnesota. So go over there, Chesterburg Toyota, and I really appreciate those guys stepping in. So Sam, let's get on to some of this other stuff we have to talk about. We have a giveaway coming up. Can we see what we're going to be giving away here?
We do. Like always, another Northland prize pack for this week's show. So Northland hat, a bunch of the new items, a bunch of the tungsten and the Gamakatsu Elite Series jigs there. Of course, the Bro Roadshow mug. So to get entered in to win this stuff, like, comment, and share, and that'll get you entered in to win. We'll be picking a winner at the end of the show. So, yeah, ask your questions, and we'll try to get to answer them. But another great giveaway. Stuff you can't buy in stores yet. So super extra valuable.
So some of the hot stuff coming out for this winter, and I know we're going to talk about this later, but I'm using it this fall, and I've been using it whenever I'm out pan fishing. I actually have it in a package, is a pre-rigged tungsten and bloodworm. So you got it right there. So he could show you how that works. That would be, yeah, you can put about anything in that cup, and it'll keep it cool and good. But that's tungsten, and that is one of my favorite ones. And that pink one works really good also. But I can't wait to use it. And then even under a boat, these glass buckshots are going to be fantastic, and they're super loud. So, you don't have to wait for winter to use a spoon and a minnow head. These things work really good. And I noticed there's been people on the lakes just ripping, and now the water temperature has actually gone down. And hey, that's great, Kale. That's super cool. But the water temperature's dropped. It's 58, and it rose a little bit, 58 and a half here in the last couple of days. So what happened is we had a real heavy cold, 27, 28 degrees in a few 4 or 5 days ago. And then the fish went nuts everywhere. And the crappies, the bluegills, the walleyes. And then it got warm. So we're going to be almost 70 again tomorrow. And they're in the stasis. We call it the reset button. So when it gets warm in the fall, it stops everything. So if as soon as it gets cold again, which is coming Thursday, it's supposed to be really cold. And so that'll spark it up again. But when the water gets in the 40s, it's going to slow it down. So in the wintertime, it doesn't matter as much. But in the spring, you want warm. In the fall, you want cool. And that's just how it is.
Bro, do you like to fish? Are you going to fish on that Wednesday before the cold front hits, or are you going to fish in the cold front? When do those fish really start firing up?
I'll be out tomorrow, and that's pre-front, and I will be out Thursday. I'll be out the whole time. I'll be out through thick and thin, and we're going to get them because I got the secret bait that I'm not going to reveal until we give away before we give her the prize in a little bit. But they're asking sizes on the glass buckshot, and are they available?
Yes. The glass buckshots are live on Northland's website. Should be hitting the stores as soon as ice product is in the stores. And the sizes, I believe it's a little funky on this one. It's 3/32, 1/8, and 1/4.
Okay.
Just the little one runs a little bit heavier, just with getting the glass rattle in that and whatnot. But I think these are the 1/4s. Let me see if I can dig out a couple of the other sizes.
Oh, while he's doing that, I'm using braid right now. That's what I use. I use 10 and 12 pound. I like 12 pound if I'm ripping baits. And I've gone to a lighter leader and longer leader, 3 to 4 foot, especially on Leech Cast, Winnie, Bemidji, Clearwater. But we're got a guest coming up here soon, so let's see that. Oh yeah, that's a way to bring it up. Look at the colors.
Yeah,
those are super loud, and they catch
over there. I don't have them in the right order, but yeah, catching everything from bluegills up to big walleye and pike with them. So
hey Troy, good to see you.
What I'm gonna have tied on Red Lake right away.
Red Lake, we kill them, but don't forget your bro bug spoons because we absolutely. I can't tell you till the end of the show. So you got to hang on. Secret bait coming. So he hails from the Dakotas, and he's one of the best fishermen we know. He's a guide. He's got Fin Hunter Guide Service, and he's coming up on the show here. Cody Roswick, Northland Fishing Tackle Pro and Lund Pro, is in the house. Come on, bring on Cody. Thanks, Brooke.
Hi, guys. Hey. Thanks for having me tonight.
How you doing, Cody?
Good.
Hitting it hard?
Yeah. Just enjoying these nice, beautiful fall days.
Absolutely. Are they slowing the fish down when it gets warm?
Yeah, it has. It's you got to work for them right now, but we're still getting nice limits of fish. As long as you can move around, you just have to pick a couple off of each spot. Is kind of what our program is right now. But yeah, we definitely got some cold coming later this week, and like you said, that'll change things up a little bit.
Where have you been guiding around right now?
I've been on Devil's Lake, Stump Lake, and Lake Ashtabula. I'm in my home in Valley City right now. I've been on Lake Ashtabula a little bit lately. We've been catching some crappies, white bass, smallmouth, walleyes, perch, lots of perch. So that'll bode well for ice fishing this year. I'm pretty excited.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you know, the whole thing is knowing where those fish are now is going to help us on the ice. And that he jumped ahead because he already mentioned this winter. And I was going to ask you later, you don't hibernate. You are full blown after it in the wintertime. And so you're taking notes, and people should know that.
Yeah. You definitely want to pay attention to what's going on in the fall. That'll help you for early ice, especially. And yeah, with the season never closing in the Dakotas, it really helps. I get a lot of business in the fall and throughout the ice season, well into March, which is kind of a bonus for us here out in the Dakotas. So
yeah, rub it in. Yeah, ours closes, so we have to come to you. But
so send them out here. Send them out to me. Yeah,
we will. Right now, everybody listen. When I can't take you for walleyes, go to him. But what's the water temp in your area right now? Just curious.
It's anywhere from 59 to 62 is what I've seen. So it's cooled off substantially, but it's, we've had some warm days. These longer cool nights. I'm watching the water temp there. For a while it was dropping 1 or 2 degrees a day, and now it's just kind of stabilized the last I suppose week or so, kind of hanging in that 60-degree mark. And yeah, it's slowly getting to the point where it'll be strictly a jig and minnow bite.
Oh, it's kind of going into what Sam was going to ask.
Speaking of that, Cody, I got to ask my typical question. What's your favorite Northland lure?
My favorite lure that I couldn't live without is just a standard RZ jig. I love the RZ jigs because they have a nice long shank. We can pretty much just use fathead minnows and creek chubs out here. Fathead minnows are our staple, and it's just a perfect jig for putting a fathead minnow on and getting busy after these fish. They definitely put on the feed bag. It's been a mix of crankbaits and jigs and minnows lately.
Have you got a chance to try the new tungsten ones out yet?
No, I haven't. I have not.
I'm going to have to send some your way, but yeah. So basically the platform of an RZ jig, but made of that tungsten design, a little bit more pill shape, so it has a little faster fall on top of the tungsten. So I'll have to put a little care package together for you when I get back to the office tomorrow and ship some out.
Yeah, that would work well out here because in the fall we get a lot of fish out in that 30, 40 foot of water. So a tungsten jig, if you can get a light, a small profile jig down in that deep water, it's a good mix of perch and walleyes. That'd be perfect for some of our conditions out here.
So Dakotas are fantastic for hunting. I mean, big game and ducks and pheasants. Does that make the lakes a little quieter for you?
It does. They're definitely the lakes get pretty quiet in the fall. I just love it. Lots of people out here hunting. In fact, a lot of my fall business is taking people fishing in the afternoons. They'll come out here and hunt waterfowl in the mornings. And then tomorrow I got some hunters fishing with me in the afternoon. And yeah, it works really well. It's the whole cast and blast thing's really popular out here. So
it doesn't take you a whole day, does it, to do good for them?
Yeah. It's great. It's especially on these nice warm days. You know, the duck hunting was maybe a little subpar, so they'll be looking forward to fishing tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
It's a good gig. Cast and blast, right?
Yep.
I need that.
Time of year a guy lives for if you're an outdoorsman.
So, do you ever use plastics? This is one of the baits I've been using still. Impulse plastic, and you'll see I got it in the deep V. That's been really good still, and for me, I'll use that stuff all the way until the water temperature gets closer to 50, and then it's meat for me. And then I've been using, this has been one of my favorite colors here, the green, and of course the blue and parrot. That's been really good.
One of my favorite colors is a glow watermelon. Glow watermelon is just a staple for me, but I've been doing pretty good on blue and white and a couple other colors. The standard whites are always really important here in the fall. It just seems like our fish are eating a lot of baby white bass. They're eating little walleyes. They're eating perch. So, yeah, white and chartreuse definitely get the nod in the fall over here.
And that's good for growth rate, too. Those white bass actually are quite a food source throughout the whole Midwest. I mean, the Mississippi, the Dakotas, and they're actually kind of a superfood, it seems, for the fish. They really grow them good.
Yeah, they must be high protein, and they're kind of like a little silver dollar panfish, and they grow fast, and some of the shallows are just full of those little silver dollar white bass. The fish are just gorging themselves on them. It actually makes them hard to catch in certain days. I know on Stump Lake, it's been kind of an evening bite. Really struggling out there in the morning. If I got a morning trip or if I have to get a lot of fish, I've been going to Devil's Lake, but getting some nice fish too. So it's just a great time of year. I'm really enjoying the fall weather. We've had a beautiful fall, and looks like we got some, it's going to be cold for a few days, but then it's going to warm up next week, mid 60s just about every day. So
that doesn't help make ice.
No, doesn't make ice, but yeah, winters get pretty long, so I enjoy the fall weather while we have it. That's for sure.
We just need a nice fall and then just snap right to it. That's those are the best years. So, Cody, so when do you decide? You said use plastics a lot. Live bait bites going right now. What do you play it by a day-by-day basis, or is there certain factors that trigger when you're going to use live bait over plastics?
Yeah, there is. You can kind of tell the mood of the fish, and then on windy days, I'll use a lot more plastics on windy days. It seems like the fish they're fired up a little more. They're more active. We fish a lot of current areas. When the wind is blowing, it generates a lot of current at the bridges or certain points on the lake. Or I believe that wind blown current really is a factor. And then the artificials definitely get the nod because you don't have to rebait. You can just pitch it out there, and snap jigging works really well in certain situations. So wind is a big factor, even in the fall. It seems like you get into mid-October, you get a lot of windy days. I've noticed over the years that we typically get a lot of wind in October, and that generates a lot of current in some of our good fishing areas. And the plastics work really well on days when you get a lot of current.
Yeah, kind of maybe disorients the fish too, along with firing them up, and they don't get as good of a look at it. And both of you guys, I've seen a couple of questions coming now. What rod setups do you throw a jig and minnow on and a jig and plastic on? We've had a couple of questions roll through at the bottom of the screen.
Well, I'll just mention I love my St. Croix, but I use a Legend Elite 7-foot, and the 7-foot's really nice for pitching plastics and for jigging. Period. Medium, extra fast. I go medium light if I get sandblasters in a boat that want to Texas hooks at them. I'll trick them and put a medium light on there because it'll rip the face off the fish. And then, but I've gone when we've had them heavy winds, and you have too. But I'll go to a shorter rod like a 6.3 or 6.8 when it's windy, But what do you think, Cody?
Yeah, I prefer like a 6.5 foot rod in the fall, just because I do a lot of vertical jigging.
Sure.
But anything 6 to 7 foot medium action. I use a lot of like 8-pound super lines and then a little piece of fluorocarbon leader. Really does a good job. You get a little bit of shock absorption, and in that deep water, I like the super lines just because you can feel the bites a lot better when you're fishing 20, 30 feet of water.
That's fantastic. Are you using puppets at all when you're fishing in the fall?
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely puppet minnow season. I've been using lots of puppet minnows. Out on Ashtabula, there's some big schools of white bass, and if you just pitch a puppet minnow back there and snap it a few times, it's one after the other, and people just love that. It's really fun. It's a lot of action, and yeah, they're pretty nice white bass, so it's fun. It's a nice break up during the day just to go out and just catch fish after fish.
When I was out there with Jason Mitchell this spring, I caught my first white bass ever, and it was I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is great!" And he's like, "What is it?" He's like, "White bass." We're like, "Oh, okay." But I was like, "Oh, they're a lot of fun to catch those white bass. We don't have them around here."
Did the net drop all of a sudden as soon as you said that?
Dropped. It's like, where are the walleyes at? Which was fine, But that was I caught a couple that day, and it was the first I've ever caught, so it was a new experience for me and a lot of fun.
They're huge out there. I love them.
This thing was like, that big. Like I thought they were like this.
Yeah. There's a crop of real small ones, and then there's a lot of them that are 1.5 pounds. But several times this fall, I've gotten on the really big ones. Like they're at least 3 pounds. Some of them.
Yeah.
They're like 19-inch white bass, and they fight harder than anything. They fight harder than smallmouth. They're
he asked me what it was, and I said, I don't know. And he's like, "Oh, it's a white bass."
Yeah. If you got a big fish, and I see it all the time with boats around, all of a sudden you see someone all nervous and they're getting ready to net, and then you see him drop the net, and then this guy's trying to pull up a big fish by his line, and then you see his line snap, and it's like, just net the fish, net the white bass, net the northern, But I was going to ask you, you're a Lund pro. You've been Lund since I've ever known you. You're a dyed-in-the-wool Lund. So you
I used to work there.
What you did?
Yeah. I was a marketing manager there for
you were
11
Lund.
years.
You still are Lund. So you're a marketing manager. And what Lund do you use for your guiding, and why? I'm very curious.
Well, I've actually got a couple of them, but the boat that I helped design years ago is now it's the model numbers have changed, but it's the Pro Guide series, and it's the 2075 Pro Guide, and that truly was built as a guide boat. It's a big tiller boat with lots of seat bases, lots of fishable space in the boat, storage where it should be, and I can comfortably guide 4 people and still run everything from the back of the boat. So it's a comfortable boat to have 3 or 4 people in. And it does everything I need. These days, anything over 20 foot is basically an unlimited horsepower. So they've got those boats rated all the way up to 250 horse, which is a tremendous amount of horsepower. You can zip around with the big windshield boats. It handles big water really well. It's a perfect guide boat for me. Plus, I do a lot of trailering, so aluminum boats are a little easier to trailer. I've got it on a roller trailer. A lot of the boat ramps. In fact, I was in a lake the other day where I had literally a 10-foot spot. I had to jackknife my Pro Guide into the ditch in order to fish that lake, and you couldn't do that with a lot of other boats. So I could roll it off and crank it back on with the strap. It's just wonderful. There's a lot of opportunities of having a boat like that.
Well, that sounds perfect. You got multiple boats. Do you go to Any other type of boat, or is it all tillers? Do you use?
I have 2 tiller boats. I have a Lund 20 Alaskan, a 20-foot Alaskan as well with a 115, and it's kind of my backup boat. And then I've got some friends that help me on occasion, and it's a boat that they can use. It's a boat that I can get into some of these small bodies of water. We got a lot of smaller bodies of water that have really they've really turned on in the last 15, 20 years. So some great opportunities with that boat as well. It's a great spare and good insurance if I ever have any mechanical issues, because like everything these days, it's hard to get parts. It's hard to, the dealerships are busy more than ever. So it's nice to have a spare. It's nice to have a second boat for insurance.
Yep. Well, and you got stuff to hit there.
Yeah. It's been a good investment, and Lunds always hold their value really well. So good resale value is another reason to have 2 boats, I guess.
Spoken like a true Dakotan. I got a tiller and a smaller tiller.
Cody, I'm still one of those weirdo tiller guys, but
you see less and less, but that's kind of Bemidji too. A lot of tillers in Bemidji. The CEO from Northland, he is from down in Hudson, so he's on the St. Croix a lot, and he's like, yeah, I feel like tillers are just a Brainerd and North thing, and then out in the Dakotas. So, but some guys can't live without them, so they're awesome little rigs. Yep. Cody, you run Humminbirds. What type of Humminbird technology are you using on your boats to find fish?
Well, I still use the tried and true Helix units, Helix 10s. They make some more sophisticated models, but those Helix 10s are just workhorses. They've got all the features that I need. They got great chart plotters. The depth finders work well. The side imaging, down imaging. Once you get to learn how to locate fish and understand the difference in bottoms, bottom types and bottom structure, all those, using traditional 2D sonar, down imaging and side imaging makes a huge difference. You don't necessarily see fish, but if you see some activity down there and see the transitions from soft bottom to hard bottom, or little rock piles, or the tree edges, it really makes a difference. Electronics this time of year, especially fishing these 20, 30, 40 foot depths, hard to live without good electronics, and Humminbird has done a great job with the Helix units.
Well said. I totally agree with you, and I couldn't live without my Humminbird. I love 360. I'm addicted to 360, and I like it going out there. I love side imaging, but 360 is nice. You can see the fish, the structure, and so then I use my Mega Live. Once I see a school of fish, then I focus, and I could direct people at casting or where I'm going to cast. And I have it all in my trolling motor, 360 and that. And I'm back at the steering wheel, and I could see it, and I just hit it with a remote and turn it. But 360, use it on the ice too. And you know what? You have no light pollution there in the Dakotas, because we can't even see you anymore.
It's getting pretty dark. I should probably
get a lighter or a flashlight. But you're right. There's no other map that's better. The best down imaging, the best side imaging, the only 360. Fantastic that with the Aquaview, and Sam's having a lot of fun with his. And I love using my 722. It's simple. I could keep it with and drop it down really, really fast. And 360, deep on average, I'm about, teens to 20s, but I can go to 30s. And when you hit mud, if they're not off the bottom, you can't really see a shadow against the mud, but you know what? You see the fish, you see the dashes. And so you see a whole bunch of, it looks like fish sitting in a spot. Well, they're fish. And you go over there and you fish them. And so we've had a roller coaster ride with weather. And you have too there. I mean, it's like you get it and then we get it. And the fish will push off a little bit. Even in deep water, they'll push off that edge on the mud. And it's really hard to see them some days, but you can see them. They're there on everything. And so, forward viewing is nice, but you want to have something to look at before you put it down there. And I think it's just, it's fantastic where technology has gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the sophistication these days is it's not that complicated. It seems complicated, but it's not. You just have to learn what to look for. If the fish are tight to bottom, if you see any little disruption on the bottom with that down imaging, side imaging, the Mega Live, those are likely fish. I was in a situation the other day where the fish were really tight to the bottom, and I was kind of questioning whether those were fish or not. And then a couple hours later, they absolutely were. They raised up off the bottom and became real active, and it's fun to see that. It really, the more you use your electronics, the more you learn. Even if you're somebody that's on the water a lot, like you are, Brian, you learn stuff every day, and you remind yourself of what things look like in certain situations. It's pretty neat. You're always learning. That's what I love about fishing.
Yeah, the addition of electronics, if you're going to put one thing into your boat, I think a quality trolling motor and some sort of decent electronics, and you can get into these stuff pretty cheap now with Helix 7s, Helix 5s. But like you said, Cody, I think it steepens the learning curve so much, because instead of you going, I wonder why I caught that fish, let's poke around here. It's like, oh, I saw this on my graph and I caught the fish. Let's go find more stuff that looks like that. And your learning curve just goes so much quicker when you have good electronics in the boat.
Yep, totally agree.
We got a question here, and this would be perfect. Cody, when you're pulling crankbaits or plugs, as we say in Dakotas, and using like a rumble shad, how fast do you troll with it?
What's been working the best is like 2 to 2.5 miles an hour. I've been trolling some road beds. I've been trolling some old shoreline breaks in 15 to 25 feet. And yeah, it's, the kind of the standard is 2 miles an hour, but 2 to 2.5 is what I like. And you got to have a little speed, just because your baits will perform a little better. You'll get more vibration, and it'll call a fish from a longer distance away if you rattle them up with some good vibrations down there. So it's important to have a little speed, I guess is what I'm saying.
Do you increase your speed throughout the season? Earlier in June, start a little slower, and as the water heats up, do you speed up, or you just kind of play with the fish? Faster speed, just depending on what their mood is.
Depending on what their mood is, but yes, you typically go a little bit faster later in the season. I don't use a lot of crankbaits early season, just because we have some tremendous casting opportunities, and I cast a lot of jigs and plastics more than I cast crankbaits especially in the springtime, because they're just as effective most days. You could catch them on crankbaits, but it's a lot less hooks to deal with if you just have a single jig and a plastic. And we catch so many fish in some of those areas. It's just you're much more efficient with one hook versus 6. Just getting the fish out of the net and just taking the fish off quickly and onto your next cast. You'll catch twice as many fish if you just fish a jig and a plastic.
Well, we had a bunch of questions that all kind of correlate, and there's a question about what plastics. I like that Impulse fluke, and I like the paddle tip in the summer, but this time of year right now, I'm liking the flukes. Not as much the swim-based paddle tails, and then they wondered about fatheads. When do you switch from fatheads to chubs? And basically, I'll have chubs and I have someone pull them, but most of the time we're jigging. But if there's a big fish area where I know I get them, we'll throw chubs on, but it's if they're available.
Yeah.
And can you get chubs over there to use?
No, they're very hard to get. You almost have to go catch your own. And I live in an area where I can catch some of my own, but I seldom have time to go do it.
Yeah.
I had just a big fathead minnow is about the best we can do on a daily basis. But getting some chubs is a treat, because they do work really well, especially for big fish in certain situations. But yeah, It's 99% fathead minnows over here in the Dakotas.
Why is that, Cody? Is that
it's
law
what's
regulated or just
availability? It's
availability?
state regulated. They only want what's native in our waters, and we don't have a lot of spot tail shiners. We do have some river shiners and things of that nature in a handful of our rivers and streams. But legal bait fish in North Dakota is just fathead minnows, sticklebacks, and creek chubs, and that is our only legal bait fish we can
That's
use.
not
we
too
can't
bad.
use sucker minnows either. By the
you
way,
can't use sucker minnows.
No.
Oh man. Well,
no.
we had a viewer ask, and we're trying to catch up with everything. Places to stay. Could you give them a little brief where to stay when they're over there?
Yeah. There's a lot of lodging options in
the
Devil's Lake
area.
There's hotels. There's little lodges. There's cabins to rent. A couple places I use a lot is the Pekin Lodge in Pekin if I'm fishing over on the east side of the lake. The Sunlac in Lakota and Devil's Lake, and the Cobblestone Inn in Devil's Lake is another great location. A lot of them have fish cleaning stations right at their facility and continental breakfast. It's all good places to stay.
Yeah, you hear that, Sam? They got fish cleaning.
I know. That's when I went out there. Yep. Cody took us to one of Devil's Lake. I believe it was a public fish cleaning shack, right? Owned by the city?
Yes.
And I was kind of like awestruck, and it was like, looked like a commercial fish cleaning factory, like it all stainless steel, super clean. We're used to little Minnesota guide shacks at the resort. So no, Devil's Lake definitely caters towards the fishermen. It's a
Walker has a really awesome house there, and that one's has a commercial grinder and stuff. And then
I haven't been in that one yet.
Up here, like some of the forestry places have some primitive ones, like over by the Winnie Dam. There's one down there, and but they really have like the houses. I mean, they're super fancy over there. But someone was asking, in upgrading technology, would you go with side or down imaging first, or go into straight live technology? That's a tough question. It depends on how you fish. If you're going to fish panfish, in the wintertime, you could, point and shoot and then drill holes.
Yep.
But I've heard it said by the end of the day, drill just as many holes as if you would have drilled in the first place. But for me, I'm 360, man. I love my 360, and I love using that in tandem with Mega Live imaging. And someone want to know, Cody, if you use 360 at all or Mega Live?
I don't have a 360 unit on my boat. I rely heavily on just a standard 2D sonar, down imaging and side imaging. And I've played around with the forward facing sonar, and it works great for ice fishing, but it's pretty cumbersome in the boat in the summer, especially when you're guiding. You have to work around it. Everybody wants to see it. And when I pull up to a spot, if I see a few fish on the standard sonar or my down imaging, that's good enough for me. I know that there's fish in the area, and I just start fishing. And although it's really neat technology, I find myself a little more efficient by not using it. And just when I see some activity down there, we start fishing, and we'll give it 15, 20 minutes. If we're not getting some results, then we move on to the next spot.
Yeah. And
so kind of a run and gun approach is usually what I use instead.
I would comment there too that I think side imaging was really important for me when I first got it. And I would say if it comes down to getting a bigger unit with down imaging versus a smaller unit with side imaging, I would go with the smaller unit with side imaging, probably at least get a 7. I think it's a little small in the 5, but you can learn so much from seeing a little bit away from the boat. You see, like Cody's talking about those bottom transitions and little rock bars and whatnot. So that would be my deal. Is I would get a smaller 7 with side imaging over a bigger 9 with just down, or 10 if it came down with it. But the best unit you can afford is going to be the best for you. Obviously, as the screens get bigger, you see more.
Get what you can.
Get what you can.
Yep. Get what you can is definitely good advice. And it's amazing what you'll see on just the these helix units with some down imaging, side imaging, and traditional 2D sonar. You can, you'll pull into a spot. There'll be a bunch of trees off to your left, for example. You think there's maybe some fish around the base of that tree, and when you drive over it with down imaging and you see those little dots underneath the tree, then it confirms without a doubt that those are the walleyes you're looking for, or perch, or whatever might be there. But it's tremendous.
Thanks, Tim.
Tremendous technology from where we were 30 years ago. That's for sure.
Well, and then here's the thing where I like to tempt people with Humminbird is when you go out on the ice, you just unplug 2 cords and you got your 360. Okay, so you go with your 360 and you got your portable unit, and then you take your other stick and it's got the Mega Live, so you could plug them both into the same unit. Yeah. So you carry 2 poles, 1 stick, and you could cut the poles down. And some people don't have thick ice like we do up in our North Country here. They have thinner ice, but they're so portable. You don't need to take 2 units. You just
right, and so plug and play too. It's just they're ready to go. That's what I love about the Helix is it's so easy to switch it. I use them in my boat. I put them on my 4-wheeler, on the ice, in my kayak now. Like I just get a few more accessories and swap them around. So they're dummy proof.
So forward viewing is nice, but if you got holes all over the place by now, 360 or that just works great. So just remember that when you're out looking, you got, and then you can detach both of them and just use it as a sonar unit or whatever. So that's where I like the one boat network becomes the one ice network. It's pretty cool. And I wanted we had this question come up about the ripping minnow. What do you guys think about? My phone likes to bark. So you in the ripping minnow, you use that a lot, don't you, Cody?
I do. It's a real unique jig. It's got that gliding action. It's perfect for snap jigging techniques that a lot of us use, just because it's got that walk the dog feature. That little fin underneath is it's a game changer when it comes to small jigs that you can work along an edge or a weed line, or for casting, or for working edges. Those ripping minnows they're definitely one of my favorite. It's a pretty unique jig. It's something I use a lot of, and I'll put a standard minnow on there, and then I use the plastics as well.
Yeah. Well, you helped us. You're a big role in helping design that jig for us. And the one thing you told us right away is if you use, if you design something like this and use it with plastics, that plastic needs to be rigged perfectly. And that's kind of where we came up with the idea of just selling it pre-rigged. And you're totally right that, you get the pre-rigged one in the card, and then the tails have a tube, so it rigs perfectly every time. But it helps that jig track so much straighter. And if you're off just a little bit, rigging your own plastic, which you just got to be more careful doing it. It's going to walk a little bit, but it's super nice to have that out of the box ready to go.
It's got the action of a puppet minnow, but the versatility of a standard jig. So it's a hybrid in the sense that you've kind of matched a puppet minnow and a standard jig, and the hybrid is the ripping minnow.
We had people ask what colors, and so for crankbaits using a Rumbles, I would use perch or fire tiger on Leech Lake before I use anything else. What would you use in your area?
I've been trolling lead core with rumble bugs and rumble shiners.
Oh, lead core, okay.
Yeah, and I love those rumble bugs. They're pretty neat little crankbait. They're small, compact. We were banging them down the Golden Highway earlier this year, which is kind of a famous roadbed on Devil's Lake, and they were catching fish after fish. In fact, there was a time when there were so many fish on the road, you couldn't go 100 feet and you'd have another one on. And a lot of them were small, but that rumble bug was a fun little bait for trolling lead core this summer.
You just answered someone's question right there. So he's using lead core with the rumble bug, and someone they want to know how to keep bait alive. I use a Magnum bait station, and you'll have 2D batteries. It'll last forever. But if you plug it in your car, and then when you get home, you can make D batteries last for days because you're only using them when you're in the boat. But
Sure.
More importantly, everybody wants to know how they can get a hold of you for guiding. Could you throw that out there for everybody?
Sure. You can look me up on my website, which is finhunters.com, or I'm on Facebook, or my phone number is 701-840-5407. And it's Cody Roswick with Finn Hunters Guide Service here in the Dakotas.
Oh, that's perfect. And
so Cody, you guide on the ice too.
Yes.
When does that get going for you? Does North Dakota have an early bite like we have Red Lake, or when do you start getting on the ice?
Yeah, typically mid-December is when we have good safe ice. I'm not a proponent of taking people out on real thin ice, so I like the many years we'll have good safe ice, 10, 12 inches by mid-December. But when I really get busy is right after Christmas and then all of January, February. Those are definitely we're busy all the time, I guess. But typically mid-December, I'll fish a lot of the smaller lakes to begin with, just because they're better ice and a little safer, and they usually have a really good walleye bite or perch bite early in the season. So I tend to spend a little time on those small lakes and then move to the big water as we get into January.
And we need a little reminder, Sam, that very soon we're going to be giving away this prize pack in a few minutes here. Remind people how they can win.
Yep. So again, reminder about the prize pack: like, comment, and share, and that'll get you entered in to win. Got a bunch of the new Northland items, Northland hat, and of course the Bro Road Show mug. So like, comment, and share. We'll be picking a winner in just a few minutes here.
And that is a great mug for everything, not just coffee. So remember that. So, Cody, if here's the thing: what I love about this is you guide open water and ice, and if you had to choose one, what would it be? Would you choose open water or ice?
Oh, I would hate to choose, but I would have to say I enjoy open water fishing the best. But I really, winters would be terrible without ice fishing. So I love them both, Brian. I hang my hat on both of them. We have such a tremendous ice fishery here in the Dakotas with good numbers of fish. Even on a tough cold front day, we can always drum up some fish. So we're pretty blessed. We got some great fishing. The state and Mother Nature's done a great job with our fisheries, and keeping them strong. And it makes being a guide out here special because you can always catch a few fish, even on a tough day.
They stock perch over there. They stock perch and panfish in different lakes. I seen some of the stocking reports, and it's amazing. And they have everything listed, what's in what lake, and they really try to guide people on where to go.
It's very user friendly. The North Dakota Game and Fish, if you go to their website and click on fishing, they have stocking reports, they have maps, they have netting results for all our 400 plus bodies of water. And with a little bit of research, you can find out a lot about our lakes, how healthy they are, and which ones might be worth targeting, looking at the netting results, because they even break it down to what size the fish are. And the guys in the North Dakota Game and Fish, they do a really good job of keeping our fisheries healthy. And then they'll even trap and transport panfish to lakes that need them. Right by Valley City here, we got Hobart Lake, and it's notorious for our Game and Fish to net perch out of Hobart and trap and transport them into lakes that they think they need them, either for a forage base or just to build new perch fisheries. So pretty lucky. The guys do a good job.
Talk a little bit about, I know when I was out there with you, the age of the perch and their growth patterns, and touch on that of how they get big so quickly and whatnot.
Yeah. So the wintertime we target perch and walleyes mostly. And, we're known for our big perch. and they grow fast and they die young. They say that the average perch only lives about 5 to 7 years out here.
Oh,
so incidentally, you know, when they get to be those true jumbo perch, they're at the end of their life cycle, and you know, it's kind of a special time. The perch fisheries are pretty cyclical. There's some that have good recruitment year after year, like Devil's Lake, Stump Lake, some of our bigger prairie lakes. But the those lakes are very cyclical because of their fast growth rates, and there's so much food in the water. There's lots of little brine shrimp. There's lots of little macroinvertebrates, especially if you get a lake that's, say, it's been down for a few years and then gets a nice influx of water. If the perch take off in that particular body of water, you know, they grow to catchable size within 2 to 3 years. It's just amazing.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, they just have really fast growth rates, and that's kind of a unique part of the Dakotas, is that there's a lot of food in the system. So and that's why we don't have a slot limit. North Dakota does a good job of explaining why they don't have a slot limit on a lot of our lakes, even though people ask for them, because of the strong recruitment and the fast growth rates of our fish.
Well, and you know, here there's some success stories with Winnie. They stocked the four corners of Winnie, and thing has just exploded. And it seems like there's hatches all over, and I'm sure it's the same with weather patterns like you have and we have. We got lots of walleyes here, but we have to pick a winner. But I want to thank you for coming on, Cody, and we got to have you back because you're a fountain of information and you're a fixture of everything. Sam, we have a winner, and thanks for coming on, Cody. Go ahead and pull that up.
So, bro, do we want to announce the winner first, or are we talking about your secret bait first?
Oh,
a few more minutes left.
I don't know if I could tell anybody. Should I tell anybody?
You said you would tell them.
Okay. Here it is. Is everybody ready? So I babied this, and well, Heather helped me. I have leeches right now. You drop that down, and I could be surrounded by boats, and we're getting bit. We're getting doubles and triples, and they're just inhaling it. And without Heather, these would be all dead. I'm the Dr. Kevorkian of leeches, and so thank you.
Keeper of leeches.
She keeps them alive. We feed them, bubble them, change the water. The water has to be cool. But anyway, so
maybe I have to talk about leech care in a future show. But right now, we're going to announce the winner. So Brooke just sent it over just a minute or so ago. Tonight's winner of the Northland Prize Pack Bro Roadshow mug, Northland hat, is John Creek. So congratulations, John.
Congratulations, man.
And getting your contact info to ship that prize pack out to you. So
that's awesome. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy it. And thank you, Sam, for putting that together. What a great show. I want to thank Cody Roswick for being on the show tonight. Fantastic. I want to thank Chesterburg Toyota for making all this happen, and all of our sponsors. And of course, there's so many to name, but
thank you for keeping me warm in the deer stand over the next few weeks.
Hunt Monkey and Fish Monkey, and look to our reports coming up. We're going to take a little break, come back in November, but thanks for coming on, Cody Roswick, Finn Hunter Guide Service. Look them up. And I want to thank my co-host, Sam. It's been a great run. Brooke, our producer, and of course, my lovely wife, Heather, the creative marketing in my house. And she's got the Hunt Fish Monkey on, and it's been a great run.
Everyone, enjoy. See you on ice.
We'll see you soon on the ice, and we're going to be Ice Madness starting in November. Thanks, Sam, everybody. Be safe.
Congratulations, Sam.
Yes.
Thanks.
Congrats on that stamp. Everybody, watch our social media sites. We will see you in a few short weeks, but Sam's going to be hunting, and I'm sure we're all going to be so busy coming up here, but be ready for ice because it's going to be insane. We'll see you soon. Talk to you later.